Welcome. I'm Dennis Kennedy, and our topic is cloud computing. The biggest story in the 2020 ABA Legal Technologies Survey is not so much the 2020 survey results on cloud computing. It's the not yet written story of the 2021 survey results as we see the impact of COVID-19 and work from home on the way the legal profession works. The 2020 results are based on pre-COVID information. They promise to be very interesting as a historical document and as a baseline. Nonetheless, there's much to learn from the 2020 results and what they tell us about how to move forward into an era that in every part of the legal system promises to be much more cloud intensive in the near future than it is now. Were you even thinking about Zoom meetings and online court hearings in January 2020? The cloud, a little background. So what is the cloud? The terms cloud and cloud computing have become much more familiar to lawyers in the last few years, but there can still be some confusion about definitions and acronyms. In the enterprise IT world, you will find public, private, and hybrid clouds, and many flavors of as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service, to name the three most common. To keep it simple, the 2020 Legal Technology Survey has focused on the basic concept of a web-based software service or solution, including software as a service, commonly known as SaaS. In practical terms, you can understand cloud computing as software or services that can be accessed and used over the internet using a browser, or more commonly now, a mobile app, where the software itself is not installed locally on the computer being used by the lawyer accessing the service. Your data are also processed and stored on remote servers rather than on local computers and hard drives. And cloud applications might also be referred to as web services or hosted services. Your cloud services might be hosted by a third party, most commonly Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure platforms, or more commonly in the legal profession by a provider running a service on the Amazon, Microsoft, or another cloud platform. It's also possible, though unlikely, that a law firm could host and provide its own private cloud services. Cloud approach has become quite popular in the business world. For example, Salesforce.com, Basecamp, Microsoft 365, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Slack. And for individuals, for example, Dropbox, Gmail, and Evernote. There are also a growing number of legal-specific cloud services such as Clio, Rocket Matter, NetDocuments, Practice Panther, MyCase, TimeSolve, and many more. Many people also use cloud applications daily in their personal lives, from Gmail to Dropbox to Netflix. In large enterprises, the average number of cloud applications used by each employee in a large business enterprise has been estimated at 36 applications. In the legal profession, it's still a much different story. Legal is a lagging industry in cloud use. In 2020, the reported use actually stayed flat. However, that's not the biggest story. In 2020, the poor and worsening cybersecurity approaches lawyers are taking to the use of cloud applications continued to be the key takeaway from the 2020 survey. It's difficult to reconcile the ethical duty of technology competence with the reported behaviors. The 2020 survey results again show lawyers using the cloud much less than the rest of the business world. The 2020 survey reports show that cloud usage pre-COVID-19 stayed flat at 58%. Those say that they don't use any cloud services dropped slightly from 31 to 28%, and the don't know category went to 14%. In a surprising flip from last year, larger firms took the lead in cloud adoption. The lowest reported adoption in the solo firm category, 52%. Solos and small firms topped the list, actually, in the 2019 survey. The 2020 survey highlights a major concern that while lawyers talk the talk about security concerns in cloud computing, to a shocking degree, they do not walk the walk. If you take only one thing from this tech report, to add to your 2020 technology agenda, it should be to up your game on cloud security for your sake, and even more so for the sake of your clients. The key cloud computing benefits have remained constant over the years. Lawyers and law firms see the cloud as a fast and scalable way to use advanced legal technology tools without the need for substantial upfront capital investment in hardware, software, and support services. Cloud services are generally made available in the form of a subscription with a periodic fee that's typically monthly or annually per user. A popular example of a cloud service is Dropbox, a cloud service for file storage and sharing that 67% of lawyers reported that they are already using. That makes Dropbox the most commonly used cloud service for lawyers by a considerable margin. In fact, 5 times as many respondents use Dropbox as the most popular legal-specific cloud tool. The standard Dropbox business account currently starts at $150 per year for 3 users. Microsoft 365 for business now starts at $5 per user per month, or $12.50 per user per month for business premium. Many traditional software providers have moved to cloud models and offered hosted versions of their products, joining many companies that focus solely on the cloud. The exhibitor hall at ABA Tech Show 2020 again had a noticeable increase in the number of exhibitors with cloud products. Despite slow growth and wariness of lawyers, cloud computing appears to be moving toward becoming a standard approach in legal technology, with more than half now using cloud services, even before the changes brought on by COVID-19. Survey highlights. Let's go to the numbers. 1, cybersecurity has passed the crisis point in lawyers' use of cloud services in the COVID-19 world. The 2020 survey results showed further slippage in the already lax compliance of lawyers with even the most basic cybersecurity practices. Although lawyers say that confidentiality, security, data control and ownership, ethics, vendor reputation and longevity, and other concerns weigh heavily on their minds, the employment of precautionary security measures is quite low. No more than 31%, down from 35%, of respondents were taking any one of the specific standard cautionary cybersecurity measures listed in the 2020 survey question on this topic. 9% of respondents, yikes, reported taking none of the security precautions of the types listed. Only 44.5% of respondents report that adoption of cloud computing resulted in changes to internal technology or security policies. These are disturbing numbers. 2, cloud usage stayed flat from 2019 to 2020 at 58%. And a bit of a surprise, solos and small firms who have traditionally led the move to cloud and legal dropped to last place as larger firms moved somewhat forward. 3, despite some stated reservations, lawyers continued to use popular business cloud services like Dropbox, 67%, Microsoft 365, 49%, Microsoft Teams, Box, and Evernote at higher rates than dedicated legal cloud services. Clio and NetDocuments ranked the highest among the legal-specific cloud services. 4, lawyers are becoming more familiar with cloud technologies and are attracted by anytime, anywhere access, low cost of entry, predictable monthly expenses, and robust data backup. Notably, only 28% indicate that cloud services provide the benefit of giving greater security than they can provide on their own. This confidence, in light of their actual security practices, reinforces the concerns around cybersecurity. 5, concerns about confidentiality and security, 60%, and lack of control lead the biggest concerns list about cloud services by a wide margin. Almost 94% of lawyers rate the reputation of the vendor as important. That's either very at 74% or somewhat at 20% in their decision-making process. 6, the 2020 survey Results also suggest that client focus is not a driving factor for lawyers using and considering the use of cloud computing. The consideration of client needs, expectations, and desires should be a key target area for innovative lawyers and firms. 7, only 12% of respondents indicated they expected to replace an existing software tool with the cloud tool in 2019. 40% had no plan and 48% don't know. Again, these are pre-COVID-19 numbers, and we can expect there were actual dramatic changes. 8, more than a third of lawyers are at firms with extranets. Extranets are used primarily for firm lawyers, 84%, and much less likely for clients, 33%, or external collaboration, 23%. Let's do a little deep dive into one topic, security. Are we at a crisis point? Although lawyers have a lot of concerns and wariness about cloud services, especially security, confidential, and control issues, their reported behavior about precautionary measures simply does not reflect what they express their level of concern to be. In fact, the results are shocking and reflect little, if any, positive movement in the past year or even in the past few years. The lack of effort on security has become a major cause for concern in the profession. Of 13 standard precautionary security measures listed in the 2020 survey, only 31% of the respondents, down from 35%, employed the measure most commonly used, which is using secure socket layers, also known as SSL. The next widely employed precaution was making local data backups, 30%. Given the emphasis on data privacy in 2020 because of the EU GDPR, California and other data privacy legislation, the actual decrease from 28 to 27% of reviewing privacy policies is alarming. Only 27% reviewed ethical decisions on cloud computing, and only 24% said they reviewed terms of service. Would lawyers recommend that their clients take these approaches? The numbers only get worse from there. 25% sought advice from peers, and only 21% evaluated vendor company history, despite the stated importance of vendor reputation, 94% in selecting vendors. At the very bottom of the results are things that lawyers should do quite well. A mere 9% negotiated confidentiality agreements in connection with cloud services, and in next to last place, only a shocking 5% negotiated service level agreements. If security and confidentiality are lawyers' biggest concerns about cloud computing, does this behavior make any sense? What questions does this raise about meeting technology competence ethical requirements? The 2020 Legal Technology Survey shows that for a small but slowly growing majority of lawyers and firms, cloud services are now part of the IT equation. Overall, reported growth in cloud use stayed relatively flat before COVID-19 hit. However, the continuing lack of actual attention to confidentiality, security, and due diligence issues remains a serious and disturbing concern, especially with the growth in mobile apps running on cloud services. The results on security procedures will continue to fuel client concerns about their outside law firms making adequate efforts on cybersecurity, and the numbers indicate that they should be worried. There is much that law firm IT departments and technology committees, legal technology vendors and consultants, corporate law departments, clients, and all lawyers and legal professionals interested in the adoption of technology in the practice of law can learn from these results. They give us much to think about and some indications where firms might want to move their technology strategies in the coming year and beyond. Applying basic common sense, diligence, and increased attention to cybersecurity efforts might be the biggest lesson for the upcoming year. In short, cloud cybersecurity must be at the top of the list of questions for clients to ask their law firms. The current state of cloud security among law firms is a train wreck waiting to happen, especially given the changes brought by responses to COVID-19 and the move to working from home. I'm Dennis Kennedy, And you can keep up with my writing and other work in legal technology and legal innovation at www.denniskennedy.com. I'm at Dennis Kennedy on Twitter.